All right, guys, we're here. We're here, man. The 2018 NFL regular season has concluded, and now we're on to the NFL playoffs. And I love the NFL playoffs. And my favorite, honestly, 2 weeks of the NFL playoffs are honestly the first 2 weeks with the wild card weekend and the divisional weekend. You have back-to-back weeks of 4 different games. 8 teams battling for their lives to move on for the ultimate goal of the Super Bowl. And we got a lot of fun games coming up this weekend, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my predictions for them. So without further ado, man, let's get right into this. Now, the first game, we have an AFC South showdown between the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. The AFC South back-to-back seasons have 2 teams representing, and this year it's 2 different teams, as literally the AFC South standings and whatever has literally flipped upside down. Last year you had the Jaguars at number 1 and the Titans at number 2. Now the Jaguars are at number 4. The Titans are at number 3. And, last year in last place you had the Texans, and in third place you had the Colts. And, now they've kind of flipped roles where the Texans are AFC South champions at the number 1 seed, and the Colts are at number 2. Really, the Colts came out of nowhere this year. I believe they started off the season 1-4 or 1-5, but they really came into their own and just got on a big winning streak. Only lost 1 game in the final, 9-10 games of the season, and they've been doing really, really good. And really, it's all about the quarterbacks, man. That's been a big difference with their teams. Obviously, last year, about 6 games into the season, the Texans lost Deshaun Watson, and obviously Andrew Luck was gone the whole entire 2017 season, but they are back. They're better than ever. Both quarterbacks played all 16 games for their squad, so it's going to be a fun matchup. And, last time we saw Deshaun Watson in the playoffs was when he was in college, when he took down Alabama. He was able to dissect Alabama's defense and go out there and win Clemson a national championship. And, Colts, Andrew Luck's been around for a little bit. I think the farthest he's been is the AFC championship game, but I'm really excited to watch this. I'm really excited to see the battle of the quarterbacks. And this game is tough for me for 2 reasons. One, I don't know who to pick this game, man. It's a really, really tough game. And second of all, I had to watch one of our AFC South rivals win a playoff game, but at least I get to see one of them get eliminated. Now with this game, man, my brain just feels like I should pick the Colts because, the Colts have Andrew Luck, who's a much more experienced quarterback. You have the Colts playing really some of their best football. They look like they are the better team at the moment. They got a great offensive line. They offensive line obviously far outweighs the Texans' offensive line, as Deshaun Watson has been one of the most sacked quarterbacks in NFL history. But, the Colts' offensive line going against the Texans' D-line, it's going to be crazy. But, man, the Texans at home, I think I got to take the Texans this game, man. I like Deshaun Watson, obviously. We haven't seen him in the NFL playoffs yet, but you've seen Bill O'Brien make many playoff appearances, but they've had Joe Nobody at quarterback. I mean, I believe Brandon Weeden has started a playoff game. Brock Osweiler has started a playoff game. They've really had nothing at the quarterback position for them. But all that's changed, man. Now they have Deshaun Watson, a big-time playmaker. They got the best wide receiver in football with DeAndre Hopkins. I think this game is going to be close, and I had to take the Texans this game, even though, man, my brain just makes me feel like the Colts are going to win, but really the Texans at home. I got to pay respect to the Texans after the season that they've had. They're obviously very, very hot right now. I think they started the season like 0-3, and they've only lost like 2 games since. So, good team. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the Texans this game. Now, next game we have the Saturday night game. We have the Seahawks playing at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this game to me, man. I think it's going to be kind of a blowout. I think the Seahawks are going to win by more than 10 points. I'm sorry, Sean from the Sports Fury. I've been kind of down on your team all year, and they've been proving me wrong. But it's hard for me to pick the Cowboys this game just with their really lack of playoff success over these last several years, really not having an elite quarterback back there. They've got a good defense. They've got a good offensive line, obviously, with their running game. Amari Cooper's been a huge spark for this team. But really, man, Seattle, they've got what's going to be eventually a Hall of Fame quarterback. Russell Wilson, you know, you got to give it to the Seahawks, man. Everybody thought this team was down and out. Everybody, even Seahawks fans, didn't think they were going to be doing good. But, you know, they got really three main things going for them. First of all, they have Russell Wilson. If you have a great elite quarterback, you're going to be in the contention all the time. So we should have seen that. Second of all, Pete Carroll, great head coach. You know, obviously always leading this team to the playoffs and whatnot. But, you know, third, I have to say, man, this is just a team that has a winning culture. You know, there are teams out there that have built their success for their teams that are just winning cultures that really are just have winning records back-to-back years, as opposed to these teams that had these good years but kind of fan out, you know. And the Seattle, they've ever since the LOB, they've been having winning records. Even last year, they didn't make the playoffs, but I still believe they were 9-7. You know, you got to give a lot of props to the Seattle Seahawks. And, you know, I look at this team, man, you've got Russell Wilson. The offensive line, of course, is sketchy, just like the Houston Texans offensive line. You know, they got a good defense. They're playing in Dallas, but, you know, I really think just the X factor of this game is Russell Wilson, his playoff experience versus, you know, Jason Garrett, who kind of chokes in big moments. And, you know, they did a good thing by winning the NFC East in what looked to kind of be like a down year. But, you know, I've got to give this one to the Seahawks. I think this is, I hate to say it, but I do think this is going to be, they're going to win by double digits. And I'm hoping for a good game, but, you know, that's just how I'm feeling about this game. So next up, we have the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles playing at the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is, in my opinion, the most exciting game of the weekend. You have the, you know, Philip Rivers-led Los Angeles Chargers, who had a tremendous season, but unfortunately for them, they had the Chiefs in their division. So, you know, while I think they have the better record than Baltimore, they are, you know, they're much like the Seahawks, where they have, you know, the number 1 seed in their division. You know, the Seahawks have the Rams and the Chargers have the Chiefs. So, you know, you look at this game, man, Philip Rivers has to start showing himself. You know, he's 37 years old. You know, year in, year out, you know, you see these teams, you see the Chargers teams, you always think they look good, but they never come up, you know, they never come up clutch. He doesn't really have many really standout playoff performances. I believe the farthest he's ever been is the AFC Championship game. So, Chargers, they're loaded on their team. Great defense. You know, got a really good pair of edge rushers. Their safety out of Florida State, Derwin James, has just had an incredible year. I mean, these guys are loaded on the defense, and also you look at the offense, man. You know, they've got Melvin Gordon back there, running back. You got, you know, Mike Williams. You got Keenan Allen. I mean, you've got playmakers all over the field. Even Hunter Henry. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. He's going to be back this game. Tremendous 2018 season. That's, of course, a joke, as he tore his ACL, I believe, in OTAs, but he's actually back this game, so haven't really seen that ever, I don't believe, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. Now, this game playing in Baltimore, it's tough because Baltimore is always a tough out in the playoffs. You know, even Baltimore, you know, I was talking about Seattle's kind of winning culture. You know, you got a bunch of teams that have winning cultures. You know, I believe the Seahawks have that winning culture. The Baltimore Ravens, even though every once in a while they're experienced losing seasons, they never really go back-to-back losing seasons. You know, the Patriots obviously have a winning culture. Even the Steelers have a winning culture, even though they missed out on the playoffs this season. But, you know, you got to give it to Baltimore. They're a tough out. Once again, they have a great defense, which Baltimore always seems to have as a great defense. And what's exciting about this game is Lamar Jackson. We get to see Lamar Jackson, and this offense is kind of built around him to really enable him to run the ball around, get his strengths. I mean, he's getting like over 20 carries a game. So, you know, I don't know how good that success will sustain in the long term, but in the short term, it looks damn good. And Lamar Jackson is damn good at running that offense. I just don't know how sustainable that success is going to be over, you know, a 10+ year NFL career. But for now, it's fun, it's exciting. Both these teams are exciting teams. This game, man, you know, the Chargers, you know, seem to be the hot pick, but I haven't seen them do enough when it comes to playoff success. You know, I have a hard time picking teams that don't really do too well in the playoffs, and I hope the pressure doesn't get to Philip Rivers and whatnot. But I'm going to take the rookie and Lamar Jackson at home. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I really do. Like, I think the first team to score 17 points is going to win this game. And I think it's going to be a 17-14 kind of matchup, just with a couple of great defenses facing off against each other. But yeah, give me Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens at home to defeat the Los Angeles Chargers, the San Diego Chargers of Los Angeles. Now, the last matchup, we had the Philadelphia Eagles, who just got their way into the playoffs in Week 17, going at Chicago and facing off against this tough Chicago team, man. Monsters of the Midway are back, man. They are loaded at defense, man. Khalil Mack, fantastic acquisition. I know a lot of people were a little worried about all the draft picks that they gave up and whatnot, but it's paying dividends, man. Khalil Mack, Defensive Player of the Year. You know, you could have looked at Aaron Donald. I always call him Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald could have maybe won the award. Von Miller had a good year, but I don't think anybody's too up in arms about a guy like Khalil Mack making it. And you know, they got Leonard Floyd around that defense. You know, they got a good secondary. That safety out of Alabama is doing. Eddie Jackson, he's having a good year, and it's a cool team to watch, man. They remind me a lot of the Jaguars last year. But this game, man, I think I'm going to be pulling for Philadelphia to win this game, just because, you know, I'm kind of a bandwagon Foles guy. I mean, it's fun watching Foles just, you know, take this team and have, you know, all this magical success with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I just think it's a cool kind of underdog story, and you know, this is going to be a battle of you know, quarterbacks who really, they're not necessarily elite, but they're definitely above average. You know, with Mitch Trubisky coming into his own. I know Mitch Trubisky doesn't put up all the fancy stats that everybody likes to look at, but you know, he still seems like a good quarterback to me that's still kind of coming into his own. But you know, in this game, I got to take the home team. You know, I got to take the Chicago Bears, and you know, that's 3 out of 4 home teams I've taken. Really, a lot of these games can go either way, but you know, I'll take the Chicago Bears, man. Plays great defense. You know, the Eagles team, they don't look like they're as good as last year, even though they were playing a lot better. Like as of late, you know, they took down the Houston Texans, and it's a fun, exciting team, man. And I'm excited about this game. But you know, I think the Chicago Bears defense, it's going to be tough to beat them. And you know, I've got the Chicago Bears winning at home, but you know, you never know, man. It's a new team. Doug Peterson went to the Super Bowl last year and won it. You know, they kind of squeaked in at the end. They're playing hot as of late, but go ahead and give me the Chicago Bears to win this game. But yeah, man, that's my wrap up of this weekend's round of NFL playoff games. It's going to be really fun, especially after a really disappointing college football playoff weekend. You know, a couple blowouts. Hopefully these are all good games, man. I want close games. I don't want games that are done by halftime. That's not my thing. But hopefully, yeah, like I said, hopefully these games turn out good. Sad that the Jaguars aren't in it, but whatever. Alright guys, appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be doing weekly playoff picks. So join me next week, man. I'm out.